All right. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason
So he's
Tucker.
trying to cut a new track.
WPwatercooler, episode number 123. Today we're going to be talking about how to support your WordPress plugin. Let's go around the room here real quick and get everyone introduced. We're going to start with Chris Wigman.
I'm Chris Wigman. I built the Better WP Security, now iTheme Security plugin, so about 4.5 million users that want more support than probably most plugins out there. I currently work for iThemes, and yeah, that'll cover it.
Nice. How about you, Dave?
I'm Dave. I'm a software engineer and principal at Spectrum Tech. We build custom plugins and e-commerce solutions.
Very nice. What about you, George?
I am George Stefanis. I am the team lead for a little plugin called Jetpack, and I'm a core contributor, community organizer, and you can see me tomorrow night at the New York City meetup if you're in town.
Oh, fun.
Very cool. Mr. Coleman, tell us about yourself.
Jason Coleman with Paid Memberships Pro, and also co-authored the book Building Web Apps with WordPress.
Very nice. What about you, Lucy?
Wop, wop.
Oh, I'm Lucy. I do customer support over at WP Rocket, which is a premium caching plugin.
Very cool. Natalie.
Hello, I'm Natalie MacLeese, founder and principal of Purple Pen Productions, chapter leader of Girl Develop It Los Angeles, and co-author with Nathan Taylor of the Draw Attention plugin just released last week.
Yay! Awesome.
Say, how about you?
Oh, hi, I'm Say Reed, and I'm clapping. Slow clap, or fast clap. Does I do stuff? Usually it's with WordPress and at Say Reed Media on all the things. That's the slow clap I was looking for. I'll do the fast clap, you do the slow clap.
Very cool. Suzette, what about you?
Moving on.
Hello, everybody. I'm Suzette Frank, and I work at WebDev Studios as a front-end developer, and I do have a plugin, which I'm the CEO of Pinkify, which is a very useful plugin, let me tell you. It makes your admin pink and the front-end pink. Now,
What is that?
Yes.
You're the CEO? What does that pay?
Pink
Oh, it's a volunteer position.
It's her favorite position.
What about you, Steve?
I am Steve Zankin. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I lead the OC WordPress meetup.
And he's implemented the Pinkify plugin on himself today.
I get the giggles.
Oh, boy.
Like
Enough
Suzette,
salmon.
like Suzette, I run a nonprofit, but not on purpose.
It's a new category of business, the unintentional nonprofit.
Exactly. My name is Jason Tucker. You can find me at WPwatercooler and WPmedia.pro, and I'm also on Jason Tucker on the Twitters. So let's talk a little bit about plugins real quick. Who has made a plugin that's in the repo?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, qualified for a minute.
Thank you.
So and how many?
So these are the people we'll listen to, and then all of the rest of
I
us.
also made one. I have one in there. So okay, now that you have one in the repo, how many of you have gone from having it listed in the repo to turning it into either a freemium, a premium, something like that? How many of you folks have done that sort of thing?
I find that how many of you often to be really scintillating conversation for the
For the audio track.
Look, we have listeners. I always make sure that we're. Well, okay.
Are
well,
you on iTunes? Sorry. I'm sorry. It's one of those days, guys. My bad. I'll stop. I'm gonna restart.
So the reason why I'm asking is because that's part of the topic here is how many of you folks have actually done that, because getting one listed in the repo is just it's a little bit of work, but it's you can get it in there. Right, but then the next piece of it is like, what do you if you wanted to actually make some money off of it, how did you go about that? And so with that comes supporting your plugins. And so how do you pay for yourself for those? Are you just like supporting it by going into the support forum and doing that, or do you turn it into a full-blown premium plugin where you're trying to do support through some form or something like that you're doing?
I can talk about how I do it with Paid Memberships Pro.
Sure.
And Paid Memberships Pro is the plugin that we developed and we support, and it's also the method that we use to collect payment for access to premium support. So we set up a site at paymembershipspro.com that has Paid Memberships Pro, and we also have bbPress with a lot of alterations to it. There's a bunch of add-ons for BBPress that Pippin Williamson from Pippin's Plugin has written, and they're on his GitHub.
Who's ever heard of Pippin?
Yeah, they make it a little more support forum-y like, and we just put up a price, for annual access to our support forums. We used to kind of still answer all the questions on the .org, and when they got too time-intensive, we'd be like, hey, you should really pay for premium support for this. But over the years now, we almost pretty much ignore the .orgs. We go in there every once in a while to kind of get scope of it, but most part is if you need support, you kind of have to pay to get to the Paid Memberships Pro support.
Is that something that you post in the repo, like under your support thing? Is it like to get support, go here, or do you let people post their questions and they just like echo into infinity?
Yeah, well, we have a sticky post now. I don't know how many people see it, but at the top of the forum in the .org repository,
how many
there's a
people
sticky
read?
post. Yeah, I'm not sure how many do, but it's at least something that I can point people to when they start to get upset. We can say, hey, here's like our policy, and that's what you have.
And honestly, the matter is, with so many parallel channels for support, the question comes, which do you really want to actually maintain? There's the .org support forums, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's
Twitter is
Stack
not a support forum,
Exchange,
and neither
there's
is
your
Facebook.
own personal support
People
forums,
think it
there's
is.
Stack Exchange, there's your GitHub issues,
Email.
there's dozens
That's
of
too
different
many.
ways that things can come in.
You are
So
giving
you
me
wind
a
up
headache right now.
Yeah,
Oh, pain.
companies like WooThemes, which have recently just made the announcement that they're discontinuing Twitter support. So
Yeah,
it's a question of what do you want to put your time into?
Did they at some point say we're going to support customers on Twitter? And if so, fire that person because
I think they just started doing it
Yeah,
It
kind of
probably
at
just
some point.
I heard
So they
all these-
just
I heard
they're
these-
like, by the way, we're going to not do this anymore.
You mentioned all these support channels. I didn't hear door-to-door in there.
Person to
That's how you do
person.
it, right? Is door to
No,
door?
no, in person at WordCamps.
No,
That's actually
There's a way.
Happiness bar day
That's a
doing
valid
that.
thing.
I've spent
So
entire
you
days
just
at the
said
happiness bar doing nothing.
you
but
just said a
support.
lot. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Say you got
You
the floor,
just-
have at it.
Thank you. I was like, you just listed like pretty much everything, so we kind of need to like not maybe I'll say that in one sentence, but let's divvy that up. So
we don't
first
do
of all,
that here on the water cooler.
I know we just do that and then we talk about your mom for the rest of the time. But I thought we'd lay off of her today.
I know there's a joke in there somewhere, but we'll.
Something Valentine's Day VD. I don't know. Okay. Question being, so Natalie, for example, I just went and looked at your plugin, and you guys don't have any support on the repo.
Because
So
nothing
basically
goes
you
wrong
said-
with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. You will never need any support. But no, I thought that was great because I often go into I'm finding plugins for clients, whatever, and one of the things that I check is their support to see if this is a valid plugin for people to use. Because if there's no support, if they're just totally on their own, I won't let them use it because then I have to be their support, and that's not happening. So
But she actually does have two support
Yeah, no, we
requests
have
that
two,
are in there.
and they've both been answered.
you do? Oh, maybe it was just because it was so new that there was nothing in there.
I have 56 downloads. I mean, come on.
Oh,
Give
you're
it some
beating
time.
me. I think I only have 4 downloads.
What is the ratio? 2 to 56? Like, there's
She
got to
might
be
just
some
have
Average rating of 5 stars.
Jetpack.
I mean, honestly, one of the big problems with the WordPress.org support forums is when it's giving stats for this percentage of support forums or support questions in the last 60 days have been resolved, that's not saying how many have been replied to by the plugin author. That's saying how many have had the actual questioner come back and click a little box saying, yes, this is resolved, which most of the time they got the answer, they're going to walk off and be happy. They're not going to come back and say, yes, this actually solved my problem. So that's going to artificially deflate your numbers if you're running the official .org support forums, which is always going to display right in your plugin page, this percentage has been resolved, this percentage hasn't, whether you're using them or not. And if you're not using them, then you get an even lower percentage. So
Can you mark that as something that's not even, like, could Natalie, for example, have said, no, we're not doing any support, so that section on there was blanked out, and it's gave a link
currently,
to, like, I've
no.
seen that in various plugins. No?
I,
So you can post there no matter what, even if there's no support by the plugin developer happening there.
Who can resolve? Can I resolve an issue as the plugin developer?
Yes.
You can.
you can, but it's frowned on,
Yeah,
especially if
yeah.
it's not
Well,
confirmed by the user. That's
Is what they do.
Is
They go,
there- and is there a way for me to mark something as invalid or duplicate or?
Yes, you can say
stupid,
it's a
just
question.
a dumb question.
Yep.
Not a
Asked
question.
and answered.
I mean, seriously, I want to know.
No, yeah, I forget what the other statuses are, but you can say it's like not a question. And what we do
No.
is we don't like to mark it as resolved. We give the customer or the person asking the question a chance to mark it. But if we go every week and we'll go through the backlog and mark them as resolved if we haven't heard back in a while.
Steve believes that the customer's always right.
Absolutely.
Part of the problem too is that the .org forms aren't necessarily customers. There's a bunch of people who, the plugins in the WordPress.org repository are free, and so oftentimes a problem with me trying to ignore the .org repository is that people will post there, and then they'll post a review for the plugin saying that the quote-unquote customer support is really bad, 1-star review, and kind of beg for interaction in the review section of WordPress.org instead of the .org forums or our premium paid forums offline.
Can I pay for good reviews like a Yelp review?
I guess you could, but one good thing I will say you
Fiverr.
Fiverr. Yeah.
I haven't paid for reviews, but one thing I did was I was really upset that there was 3 1-star reviews back to back on the plugin, and I was like, this is really sad that we have tens of thousands of people using the plugin, and there's these 3 bummer reviews at the top. So I sent an email to our mailing list saying hey, one little thing you can do to help us out is post a positive review over here at WordPress.org, and we got 60 people to take us up on that over the next few days. So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I mean, people are out there, and you gotta. Sometimes if you're supporting a plugin, there should be a support group for people supporting plugins because when you compete on your site,
That's what this is.
just ask for a little bit of positive feedback and help stay in the game.
Hi, my name is Jason, and I'm a plugin developer.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Jason.
So what is the right tactic here for someone who's...
Well, the right tactic for the problems Jason's describing is first step is to acknowledge a higher power. Second, admit that you have a problem.
Admit that you have a problem.
Make amends.
Apologize. Make it wrong. Go
And
out
then you get to the
drinking.
13th step where you help the newbies.
I just jump right to that step, and then I make amends with them.
A lot of people do that, yeah.
But one thing we really need to consider is one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have with the WordPress.org plugins repository is they feel that a lot of the plugins there are, as they're basically given away for free, don't have regular ongoing maintenance updates and releases, and they don't have a lot of folks that are throwing support into them, which, to be fair, for a vast majority of the plugins there, is an honest and fair critique. I have old plugins of mine that I don't even check for support questions anymore because really I don't have time and I've not updated them in 3 years anyway.
So pull them from the repository, George.
Well,
it might be useful.
They might still work.
It's not that the code doesn't work.
A 3-year-old plugin?
I was using a 7-year-old plugin the other day, and it still works just fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mark Jakewith has some 3-year-old plugins in there that work just fine. Is it him? Yeah.
That's dangerous. You guys are playing with fire.
Fire.
It's not that bad.
You are risk takers.
So Chris, what about you? I mean, you have 4.1 million downloads. I mean, you have almost as many downloads as we have views on YouTube. So, what did you do here, and how are you going about supporting all those folks that are using your plugin?
I started just trying to do the .org stuff until it got to be too much. Then I actually sold it. It was just to talk to me or to even get me to respond to anything was $40 a shot. And I did that for almost a year. In fact, that got busy enough that I actually outsourced it all to Matt Cromwell for a good 6 months there until I went to iThemes. Now iThemes, because we have the Pro version, we do the full Pro support comes with, or buy-in the Pro version comes with support. It has access to our ticketing system. We use Zendesk at iThemes, and there's somebody dedicated to security support. On the free version, we try to get to as much .org stuff as we can, but it's often, well, that's a Pro feature, or we do cut people off, or in some cases just ignore them if they get too obnoxious. We're kings of the, you didn't support me, I'm giving you a 1-star review. So I mean that's the price to pay for it. But at some point, I mean, we're in this to make money. We can't just give away the house. It's a lot of time on a security plugin. Anybody and everybody has some question on that thing.
Yeah, support can be very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, I had at one point hired people to do support on WordPress.org, and it cost me about $10 a reply, $5 to $10 a reply or so. On average.
A question for those of you also supporting your own plugins, like Chris, Lucy, Jason. How far do you go when it comes to supporting other plugins with how they play with yours?
That's a great question.
Or I've given up. I most of the time I'm quite clear anymore that I test with Core, I test with iThemes products, and I test with some of the absolute biggest things like Jetpack. Anything else, I don't guarantee it, especially as we're almost like Jetpack and we're a modular security plugin. So when somebody comes back and says, well, two-factor doesn't work with this obscure WooCommerce extension I have or something, never heard of it, don't use two-factor. The whole plugin's not designed to be used. So I reply that type of thing a lot. Or, I mean, if the plugin dev comes to me, that's different. If a plugin dev comes and says, hey, X doesn't play well with your whatever feature, then I'll try to work something out and try to put a lot more in. But I've done that with a number of plugins.
So what about, okay, so along the same lines, what about different environments? What if it's just not working in some sort of hosting environment?
You mean like everything's broken all the time?
What if I'm on some sort of...
GoDaddy has gotten a lot better in recent years.
I wasn't going to be named.
No,
GoDaddy is great, actually.
No, they're not.
I was going to say...
I use them. Do you use them? Do you use them with clients?
Oh, no, I wouldn't host my website there, but their interaction with us as plugin developers is really great. They work with us to get our plugin working on their system.
We can't rate
I would never host there, but they're okay.
What if I'm on some sort of a host that's named like a color? Like a color host.
George sees as much as I do. I mean, it's going to happen.
Steve, Host Monster doesn't have a color. I don't know.
Or me post, except for me page.
So
yeah,
seriously, what if I'm on some shitty little? Sorry, Jason, that you're what if I'm on some crappy little hosting account and something's conflicting?
Turn off the feature.
Hey, just because you're on a shared account doesn't mean it's going to mess up.
I'm not saying me. I'm just saying I'm trying to figure out where do you draw the line in the sand for support.
When people come back and say, oh, well, my PHP is limited to 32 megs, but I want to back up the entire everything and run all these fancy features at the same time, and you need to support that, hells no.
The official response is, suck it. Official response.
At that point, do you use Twitter for support as your support?
No, they use Twitter for support. That's the problem. They'll come around and say, why is this thing messed up? And
no.
The program doesn't work and stuff.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to what level you personally want to draw your line on. I mean, with Jetpack, there are occasionally things that come up with the most obscure bugs. Like some hosts have they cannot fire a HTTPS request off to an external server. It can only operate on HTTP because reasons. But this is the kind of thing that our support crew, and then they'll eventually escalate it to the devs. We actually do go in and the cause may come back. Sorry, there's nothing to do about that.
What is that noise?
We're normally going to find out what the reason is.
All right.
Is someone doing construction, or maybe they should not do
George, I wish I didn't have experience with the specific host that you're referring to that doesn't work on HTTPS.
It's not.
I'm not going to mention names.
Name and shame. Name and shame.
I will not. But that does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even just random functions.
No, daddy.
Normal PHP
Small obscure bugs become big bugs when you're operating at scale. When you've got 100,000 users, over 1 million users, a couple million users, stuff that might have affected half of 1% of your users suddenly affects a heck of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Jetpack.
I want to hear about Lucy's plugin. I want to hear about Lucy's plugin. How do you guys handle support over there?
Well, so we are, I guess, in the somewhat fortunate position that it's only premium, so we don't have to deal with the .org stuff. So basically, we have a ticketing system. We use Help Scout, and we do everything that way. If we get a few different reports of incompatibility with certain plugins, if it's a pretty well-used plugin, we will, do whatever we can to fix it, or to contact the other developers and work with them to fix it. If it's something, really edge case, then, maybe not. But with major plugins that seem well used and we get a few different reports, we will make attempts to fix that. But yeah, for just straight up support, we do everything via Help Scout.
Do you guys have a lot of problems with different hosts and different hosting configurations? I would assume since you're caching and some hosts do caching that it might conflict.
Yeah, there's a couple hosts where they just don't allow you to install any caching plugins. But with other ones, for example, with SiteGround, like we're compatible with the caching that they already have. If we're gonna work with a host as well, we'll try and make sure that that we're compatible. But yeah, there's a few hosts out there that just don't allow any caching at all, or any additional caching.
Quietness.
Pin drop.
We're all like, go on, Lucy.
We talked about caching and then we slowed down. What was up with that?
We got cached. It was like already. So funny. That was funny.
So Natalie, what about your plugin? Your plugin is brand new, so you don't know what kind of issues you guys are going to have yet with plugin support. But have you thought about that, or what have you thought about that?
Well, you see, we coded it just perfectly, so no one.
Nice.
That's your support plan.
It works everywhere, always.
All the devs are falling off their chairs.
I do have a question, and since you just created that, and I know that you're pretty thorough in most of the things that you do, from my experience, what role does documentation play in your support strategy, if any?
Huge.
Good point, Say.
I find that most plugins are documented very well.
Oh wait, and
just look at the code, right?
In the comments.
I don't know. Are you sarcastic, or you're just joking? Because that's not true. No, wait, I can't tell sometimes. Hashtag sarcasm, Steve. Come on.
Really?
Help the people out.
I have to hashtag that. Aren't I always sarcastic?
But your deadpan is so dead.
Well, okay. So one of the things I like about I haven't actually got to use your plugin yet, but one of the things I really like about it is the fact that there's a video demo that's showing you what I'm going to get when I install it.
That's nice.
Yes.
And I think it's great, and I don't see enough of the plugins out there actually using videos to kind of describe, hey, here's how this thing's going to work when you install it.
Yes, and the video includes girly fonts and lots of pink and kittens, which is exactly what Nathan loves.
I can imagine.
Really important.
Yeah,
That's why I wanted to work on it, right?
That's why we built it, really, was for pink and kittens. But
It's
as far as the documentation goes, I mean, we kind of did our best to anticipate what people were going to ask, but in some ways you kind of have to get some users out there asking questions to make sure that you've covered all the bases and see what kind of questions are coming in and what kind of issues people are having.
Yeah, we are always adding new documentation based on questions that we're getting, so that it just makes support a lot easier as well if you can just drop in a link to a support document.
For sure.
And videos is huge. The developers are French, so all their videos are in French right now, so we get a lot of complaints about that. But one of the things that I'm working on is to basically do a whole bunch of tutorials in English. So yeah, the better the documentation, in theory, the less support requests, or at least your job answering tickets is a lot easier because you have resources to point to.
Have you had any interest in setting up like predefined responses that you can just paste into for common issues?
Oh yeah, we have a ton of saved
Alfred or the web
replies.
plugins?
Yeah, we have a ton of saved replies for all the common stuff, so we can drop those in.
Do you pronounce your actual the name of the plugin WPwatercooler in French? Is that how you say it?
You should say that out loud to a lot of people.
WP is my new thing forever. What about screenshots? Sorry, I got really excited. W. I got screenshots. So I just noticed, Natalie, you just put screenshots up in your thing in the comments. But I think I'm always shocked and amazed, shocked and awed, as it were, when I go into a plugin and there are no screenshots. I'm like, that seems to me like the most rudimentary form of support. Like, hey, this is what your admin page is supposed to look like, that type of thing. Or, an FAQ that actually has some, like, that's the thing that points to a thing on yours, Natalie, is FAQ points to a support thing. But I think those kind of predefined fields in the WordPress.org repository should be like the minimum, even if the support tab isn't something that people are using.
Something that would be fantastic if plugin developers would start using is WordPress has built in the ability to add a little help tab up at the top of the page to any page. A little slides down, provides contextual help on the page. Plugin developers don't use it. Users don't expect it because nobody uses it. If we were all collectively better about adding contextual help to pages, then maybe we could train users to actually look for it and answer some more of their own questions.
Full confession, had no idea that was a thing. Yeah, I've been using WordPress since 2007, so we're good on that. That's definitely getting through to the people.
There's actually really good information in there about like WordPress. The WordPress itself has really good documentation. Nobody ever sees it.
Well, I guess the other thing is that some of those, like for instance, if you're in the menu editor screen, if you click on that, you can then add classes or something like that to menu items.
Oh, that's a different tab. That's the screen options tab.
Yeah, it's screen options.
But it's very similar in that it's hidden.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very
and then no one uses it.
Unless you know it's there, you never get it. And if you know it's there, you probably don't need the help. So it's awesome. Super useful. Okay. But that's good to know because part of what we're doing is to try to, share ideas amongst plugin developers of, how to best support people so we can strengthen the ecosystem for everybody. And I think letting people know that inline documentation is available is probably a really great thing. I think that a lot of...
I'd say just put a hover notification pointing to the corner, but everyone just closes those right away without reading them either. So
I know WordPress for SEO has one and WordFence has one, just like a little guided tour, and people just, I don't know, I always close them.
Those pop up right away. And so I close them just because I've actually gone through them. I think those are super helpful, and sometimes I force my clients to do them. I'm like, okay, click through here.
If you have
the first rule of support is that no one reads anything.
Yeah, if you have admin pages in your plugin, like ours has, a lot of admin pages to control the plugin, we put links in certain places there that link out to our website support, and people do click on those, and it actually is an interesting way to get some feedback on who's using your plugin. Like if you have Google Analytics and it knows who the referrer is, you can see who's using your plugin even if they're not registered.
Someone's got a lapel mic that's happening.
That's all right. We only got 2 minutes left. Anyone else have any last-minute comments here?
I want to make an announcement.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, Steve.
At WordCamp, speaking of plugins, thank you. At WordCamp Orange County on Sunday, we are having the Plugin-a-palooza.
Not this Sunday.
No, on the Sunday at WordCamp, which is June 7th, we're having Plugin-a-palooza, which is a plugin development competition. And I'm announcing this now because the deadline to enter is 5 days away. So if you have an idea,
it's really quick.
Yeah, if you have an idea for a plugin that you would like to build, please enter. It's at.
It's for teams too.
The link will be in the show notes, but look for Plugin-a-palooza, and it's for development teams. Anything more on that?
The actual thing is 4 months out. Deadline's 5 days. The actual thing is 4 months.
We want to hear your ideas now, but the plugin has to be in the repository by May 29th for submission.
And there's going to be a really good prize with that too.
There's a huge prize.
Listening to the podcast,
can't say what it is yet.
There's a huge prize being announced this week.
Is it a new car?
It is not a new car.
No, unfortunately, no.
You know what?
Is it a free copy of WordPress?
It's a day with me, guys. I thought I'd tell you now. You get to go out with me. It's super cool. Yay! Oh wait, no, that's not the prize. That's just you.
Watch the Twitter stream this week for more announcements about Plugin-a-palooza.
Did you just say watch the Twitter stream?
Twitter stream. Plugin-a-palooza.
Watch it.
I need to correct myself. It's Plugin-a-palooza brought to you by Securi.
Oh, so I wonder if that clarifies what the prize is.
We will
There
be
could be a hint.
prizes this week.
It could be a hint, but maybe not.
So that is it
Wondering.
for today. Thank you all for being on the show, and make sure you go to the website, WPwatercooler.com, click on the subscribe button, move the mouse on top of the screen here, and click on the stuffs that do the thumbs up and the thumbs downs and the thumbs all over the place.
Thumbs
Do all
up.
that stuff.
Whoa.
If you are listening to us, make sure you let somebody else know that you're listening to us via YouTube's or via Twitter.
Or that
or any
Twitter
of those sorts of
screen.
things.
The twat.
What?
All right, see you there. Bye.